Hello, reporting to you live from a '09 Mazda 5 minivan. I'm Francis Pastorell.
And I'm Ned.
And we are here for Drivin Movies, the show where we talk about movies while we take a nice Sunday drive. At the moment, though, it's Monday, so, day of the week varies.
And I'm pissed.
And Ned is pissed. And as you can see, Ned is wearing a shirt that is very apropos of our topic today. What movie are we talking about today, Nedzer?
We're talking about Jurassic World.
Number 2.
Fallen franchise.
Fallen franchise. So you can already tell this is not an unbiased review. So if you've not seen Jurassic World 2, this is a spoiler-laden review.
Very much so.
Yeah, so I would stop watching this, go watch that. If you got money to spend and you want to watch a not very good movie. Neither of us were feeling particularly optimistic about this movie. We did not like Jurassic World, but we're trying to go in with an open mind. And in doing so, I went into this film asking myself, what do I need to walk away feeling okay about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom? And I decided that the answer to that question was I needed dinosaurs, I needed excellent tension building, a la the first Jurassic Park movie, and that was really it. And what I ended up with was a lot of shit I did not need that really made this movie a total drag to see. So as you start this movie out, it sort of picks up where Jurassic World left off, where the island has been vacated in light of the horrific accidents that befell Jurassic World. We find our female protagonist, who is so forgettable as a character that I don't even remember her friggin' name. She is now working...
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
I don't remember her name.
We're just going to call her Bryce.
Yeah.
Bryce has decided, somewhat uncharacteristically, to leave the world of big business and become some sort of animal rights group in favor of saving the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs are facing an oncoming calamity, death by volcano. And so Bryce is tasked by some shady, very obviously a villain, rich dude, to go in and save these dinos.
There's this Lockwood estate, and apparently Lockwood was a person who had worked with John Hammond back at the original Jurassic Park to kind of realize Hammond's vision for this thing. So they decide to bring in Bryce Dallas Howard to see if she'd be interested in saving these dinosaurs.
Chris Pratt they need in order to woo the Velociraptor, who, as we know, he has an intimate relationship with.
Blue.
And so he has to be convinced to come to the island. They get to the island only to find out that, of course, the team that's been tasked with going and saving the dinosaurs is actually there to capture and sell them, much like in Jurassic Park Lost World. And then the movie just shifts very abruptly to basically be Disney's Haunted Mansion. The rest of the film takes place in a single edifice.
Or The Purge. If you've seen The Purge,
yes.
It also had a very Purge-ish kind of feel.
It was, yeah, if you like The Purge and dinosaurs, holy shit, we found the weird crossover hit for you. Let's start by talking about any redeeming parts about this film.
There's an ongoing kind of dialogue, conversation happening about what to do with dinosaurs.
Senate hearings, if you will.
Indeed, Senate hearings about whether or not dinosaurs should be allowed to continue to exist. I like Jeff Goldblum's role in the film.
Did you?
I did. I liked his commentary, like
Let's put a pin in that.
I liked his dialogue, and his kind of caution to mankind for its consistent meddling with, DNA and stuff like this in the creation of these dinosaurs. I liked how that was juxtaposed to like the meddling of mankind and this whole debate about what we should do with dinosaurs, how we should treat them, do they have rights, etc. I thought those were interesting questions.
I really actually audibly said, when the movie opened up with this whole premise of the world debating hotly this notion of, do the things we create have rights as their own sentient beings? I wasn't over the moon about the whole premise, but it actually was something interesting to me, whereas for me, Jurassic World offered nothing new, nothing nuanced, nothing interesting. I really liked once we got to the island. That, for me, was some genuinely good tension building. You had not only the threat of dinosaurs, some of which were new ones we had not seen before, all kind of variations on the big old sharp-toothed T-Rex, Allosaurus, and some other guy with a longer beak. But also the tension built by the fact that this island was crumbling all around people. I'm terrified of lava, and I thought lava played a very big role in that opening scene.
It did.
Maybe a little bit over the top at times, but again, it was bringing me something new and something I was enjoying. But sadly, all too soon, we were leaving that island.
I have to challenge you a little bit here on this. I don't. For me, there was. So when I speak to the first portion of the film, i.e., the island scenes, the island setting being good, there was no tension for me.
Okay.
Like there was literally no tension. So I don't. I mean, I'm not. I think for me, it's an oversell.
Sure.
To hear to hear you talking about this tension building happening in the first part of the film, there was no tension in my opinion. You once you knew, the movie telegraphed pretty much every character in that film's in their role. Like it was very, there was no tension for me.
You mean you weren't shocked and astounded when it turned out that the paramilitary force sent in to rescue the dinosaurs, including some of the characters we see at the very outset as working for InGen's sort of shadowy dino cloning A-team? You weren't surprised when it turned out they were evil? I will admit, sure. I mean, was it the tension building of the first Jurassic Park? No, but going in with the lowest possible expectations, it gave me at least something that I could maybe give passing credit to. As much as I liked what was happening on the island, I hated everyone on the island. The characters that they brought in, both the badass veterinarian and the just cringing, screaming research assistant, GE. Like, clearly they were trying to give us a Jeff Goldblum-y, everything makes me nervous-esque character. But guess what? Only Jeff Goldblum can pull that off in the way that Jeff Goldblum does. Once again, we have a lot of forced chemistry between Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. We have a lot of forced chemistry now between both those characters and their new friends. And that was pretty rough for me. I did not like any of the characters who were added for this film.
The main soldier guy,
that's
kind of operating on Lockwood's behalf, right, to capture the dinosaurs from the island. He's the same guy that played that guard in Shutter Island.
Oh,
if you ever seen that, I think I like him. I like his villain. He has a very villainous aesthetic. And on the island, I liked him in his role.
He was a little Three Stooges-y for me. and also, I will grant you, on the island, a lot less so than in that effing mansion.
Right. The best character in the film. Best two characters. Jeff Goldblum and the Brontosaur.
All right, let me push back on Jeff Goldblum.
The Brontosaur.
Jeff Goldblum needs to stop being in movies Jeff Goldblum has no desire to be in. You can tell, you can see it in Jeff Goldblum's eyes when he's just cashing a paycheck. Independence Day Resurgence, one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life. Jeff Goldblum looks, sounds miserable. I mean, he's having some fun, but fun in the sense of like, I'm literally here to get a couple of bucks and then I'm done for the day. I honestly feel that Jeff Goldblum's lines were not written out beforehand. He wandered on set for 3 hours and just said, I'm just going to do me. I'm going to do one of my Portlandia characters, if you don't mind.
In this movie?
He just talked gibberish.
Oh my gosh, I
mean,
disagree.
Topical gibberish, but I
disagree.
I will grant you that effing Brachiosaur was pretty dope. Yeah.
This is one of my major critiques of this film. Is the attempt the movie made to really dig deep and reach for that nostalgia from the audience. And one of the ways they tried to do this was to have the T-Rex, I think it was on 3 occasions.
4.
Was it 4 occasions?
I believe there are 4 times in which the T-Rex in this film stands in front of something and goes...
Yes. After typically like tossing, jumping out of nowhere, tossing the thing away, and then growling, on the screen. That happened at least 4 times. Again, it was such a ploy, such an attempt to get us to, feel nostalgic about this film. The treatment of John Hammond in the film, there was a lot of talk about John Hammond at the beginning, and as we know, Richard Attenborough passed away, I think sometime last year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But there was a lot of John Hammond talk in this film.
And they retconned him.
They did.
In a way that I think is very deeply counter to what his character was made to be.
Yes. He went from being a carnival show circus manager, businessman type person who had a dream and a vision, right?
And a flea circus.
And a flea circus, right? To a scientist. I mean, he was working with Lockwood in like directly engineering these dinosaurs.
Cutting edge cloning technology.
Indeed.
That was a weird retcon for me, because part of what makes that first film so great is this notion that John Hammond is playing with forces he has no understanding of. He is a carny. He is a showman. He is the Ringling Brothers. He's P.T. Barnum. And in this film, he gets retconned into being, at minimum, the financier of a complex cloning science operation. And maybe more egregiously, I couldn't tell what they were hinting at exactly, perhaps that he was one of the founder of those sciences, which is entirely counter to who John Hammond is, and I think really takes away from the theme of the first film.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about the Indoraptor.
The Indoraptor is the feature genetic dino of the film. It's created by fusing the DNA of the Indominus Rex and
just a raptor.
Which
it already had raptor in it.
Indeed.
So you're just really doubling down on the raptor.
Indeed. They call this monstrosity the Indoraptor. It's smaller. It's more efficient. It can, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought they said it can also take orders more efficiently than a human can, which I don't understand. The intent is to engineer this dinosaur to do assassinations and things like this.
Because nothing is sneakier and stealthier than
an Indoraptor.
18-foot tall, made-up dinosaur.
Exactly.
You never see it coming. It's about as practical as that worm or whatever from Star Wars Episode 2, where instead of using a gun, that Boba Fett wannabe just slides worms through your vents. Yeah, that for me is on the level of the Indoraptor. They also made it out to be that the raptor could take orders because of its genetic connection to blue, which isn't even good science. Like, I'm an English major, and even I know if you train a dog, its child will not grow up knowing how to sit. You can't pass behavior down. I mean, you can pass disposition down, and maybe that's what they were getting at, but they really were implying that if Blue was there as a mother, it would imprint on Blue, but then that necessitates that you always have Blue. And I don't know what the lifespan of a velociraptor is. It's one of the pressing scientific questions this movie does not seek to answer, but this just seemed like bad, sloppy science.
Yeah. There were a lot of jump scare moments in this film.
Yes!
Which I think was very problematic. So instead of trying to, create the atmosphere and the kind of like the spine-tingling ambiance that the first film had, right? This film instead there are multiple moments where just like, boom, like dinosaur in your face, out of nowhere, coming from the corner of the screen, whatever it might be. It was lazy.
I don't think the Indoraptor is scary, and I guess this is kind of where some of my biggest beef is, because I believe that dinosaurs are scary by their own right because they occur in nature. When I see a movie about a wild animal, it's frightening to me because it's real. A movie that's about a genetically engineered monster, well then it better be a pretty scary monster. If it's something that is not existing or has not existed in nature, then it's up against the likes of the alien from Aliens. It's up against the Predator, Cthulhu. You know, like there's so many deeply unsettling, frightening monsters, and a genetically engineered dinosaur just doesn't cut the mustard. It's not scary enough.
Yeah. The movie relied too much on spectacle.
Oh yeah.
Than allowing for the plot to create the kind of tension, to create the kind of atmosphere you would expect from a scary, especially from the Indoraptor.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that the setting of that mansion made no sense for a dinosaur movie. I don't believe them in that house. I also don't believe that you can have an entire cloning lab below your mansion and never...
And cells. Like, it was
yeah. You had contractors coming into that house. Do you not have a doorbell?
Yeah.
You're mobile. You're not just in that bed. You come down to your museum room occasionally. Take an interest in what's happening in your own house.
Right. Let's talk about the little girl.
Let's talk about that little
This is a
girl.
huge spoiler alert. There's a little girl in the film who is a clone. So the Lockwood person that worked with John Hammond originally, he, had a great love for his daughter or
his daughter.
His daughter, who had passed away. And so what he did was he used her DNA to create this exact clone of his daughter.
Because while you're cloning dinosaurs, it's just easy as pie.
Exactly.
You just switch the setting on the cloning machine from dinosaur to little girl.
Why not? There are two things she does in the movie that really piss me off.
What was it?
That make no sense whatsoever. There's one scene where she's being chased by the Indoraptor. She runs away from the Indoraptor. And she jumps into her bed and puts sheets.
What was that about?
Sheets on.
Why did she think that was the place to go?
She doesn't hide under the bed. She doesn't hide in a closet in her room. She goes on top of her bed and throws the sheets on.
Yeah,
and don't tell me that's something a little kid would do, because this movie shows how intelligent this girl is. She's like hyper intelligent.
And mind you, we see her at one point on a 6-inch ledge. There is a point in time where she is moving dexterously across a 3-inch ledge. And here's my thought. Just hang out on that ledge. The Indoraptor can't move along that edge. It's too big.
Right.
You can just wait the movie out until the Indoraptor starves to death.
And so I think they did this because they wanted to, and you saw this in the trailer, they wanted to capture this one scene of the Indoraptor and like its nail, and its claws coming out to the girl in the bed, and that's the whole reason why they did that. I can't understand. I can't conceive of another reason. As to why they would have made her do this.
It's just one more example of what a deeply misleading trailer that is.
Yeah.
That trailer leads you to believe this movie is so many things that it isn't.
Yeah.
So much of what ends up in that trailer, telegraphing the type of movie it is, doesn't actually end up in the film, but for a passing mention.
The second thing she did, which really aggravated me, was you reach a point at the end of the film where there's this gas. This like super toxic, fatal gas that's starting to emit from these pipes, right?
Nobody makes any effort to explain what the practical purpose of the gas is.
Right.
For all intents and purposes, it is literally, seemingly its purpose is to poison. It's got a big skull and crossbones on it.
Yeah. So the gas is starting to come out, and it's coming onto an area where all the dinosaurs are kind of cooped up and penned up. And so Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and the little girl are in the control center with this big red button, where if you press that red button, it'll open the gate, dinosaurs can run free. And they have this, so Bryce Dallas Howard first goes up to the button, she's about to do it. And then I think Chris Pratt, or maybe there's somebody else in the room, but somebody's like, if you do this, you're gonna let them roam free into the world. And you know what that would mean? Kind of circling back to this whole debate between whether or not do dinosaurs have rights, should we kill them, should we not, etc. She decides not to do it. She steps back, red button, untouched. And then, in clear sight of Chris Pratt, little girl goes up and presses the red button.
In fairness, it's a very tempting button to push. It's giant and red.
So now all these dinosaurs, I don't know, maybe they're like 12 of them, I don't know. But
there's like 50 of them.
Oh, there? Okay. Like 50 dinosaurs run out.
There's too many of them.
Into the world now. So now we have the scenario where dinosaurs are roaming free, in like downtown, wherever the city is. Everywhere.
First of all, they are fast. They spread quickly.
Even the Triceratops. They spread very quickly. Exactly. Very, very quickly.
And nobody talks about it.
That's the thing. Nobody says anything about it.
What irks me,
no one says anything about it.
They bring this all back to the original conversations throughout the movie about what gives you a right to life, which is a deep philosophical question. The question, however, that they should be debating in that moment is not the deep philosophical question of what deserves to live and what deserves to die, and if man plays God, should man put Pandora back in the box? The thing they should be discussing is, you realize that if you press that button, so many people are going to die, and then the dinosaurs are all going to be shot to death anyway.
Yes.
We are in the effing redwoods.
Yes.
We are spitting distance from campgrounds.
Yes.
It's the middle of goddamn summer.
Yes.
People are out there with families at the lake, and you just let, amongst other things, a T-Rex, a Allosaurus, a whatever the T-Rex with pointy horns is. That one.
Triceratops?
No, that's not a T-Rex with pointy horns.
Oh, no.
That's its own pointy horns.
Oh, you're right.
Either way, it's got teeth and it murders people, and you just let them all out, and you don't even talk about it. And then you flash back to another weird Senate hearing with Jeff Goldblum, and he just sort of like, this is the world we live in now.
Welcome to Jurassic World.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't. But they had to make a sequel. That's why they did it. There needed to be a sequel.
Can you even imagine what that sequel's going to be?
It's going to be dinosaurs versus Predator versus Alien in a purge setting. Another huge disappointment of this film was how underwhelming the score was.
Oh my God.
Very underwhelming. And I love Michael Giacchino. Love his work. He's a very skilled composer. He's done many projects, including, for example, War for the Planet of the Apes, Star Trek, right? But this film, this score, for such a classic, iconic film and franchise, underwhelming, completely unmemorable.
Yeah. It's no Deadpool 2 soundtrack.
It certainly isn't, sir.
All right, well, it's time for our review. I think we're gonna try something this week. It's called green light, red light, yellow light. Because we're driving. That's the joke.
That's fair.
So green light is go see it right now. Red light is for the love of God, stay where you are. Yellow is, you know what I mean? You can see it, but you might regret it. Where does this one stand for you, Ned?
The hard part about this is that this film was distasteful. So like, there's no, I don't have, I feel like I don't have as much this episode because it's just bad. It's bad. It's just a bad film. It is a bad film, and I am pissed that it's already made $700 million.
Did it really?
Yes. I did 3 things when I left this movie on Friday night. Number 1, I had to cut my hair. I was so aggrieved by what I witnessed. Number 2, and number 3, I wrote a letter. To the United Nations because this movie is a violation of the
Geneva
Convention. Yes! It is a violation of the Geneva Convention. This movie is an act of terrorism. It is an act of torture upon this audience. And number 3, I wrote to the SEC because it's also a Ponzi scheme. This is a Universal Studios Ponzi scheme asking for moviegoers to give their money, to invest their money into an experience they will never get, my friend.
That's true. It was a bait and switch.
It was, very much so.
So can I assume it's a red light for you?
This is the reddest of red lights.
It's a red light for me as well. I mean, it's worth seeing just for how upsettingly bad it is. But yeah, no, a complete disappointment. Nothing about what made the first Jurassic Park good. Everything about what made the last several Jurassic Park films bad. The silly plot of Lost World, of like going to the island and the rescue team turns out to be the hunting team. The ludicrousness of like talking like the grizzled dinosaur expert into going back to an island even though he's sworn off going there. The weaponizing dinosaurs subplot of Jurassic World, which even if you liked Jurassic World, most people agree that's a stupid idea. Again, for me, what this film was about was me needing very little and me not even getting what little I needed from this film, and instead getting a bunch of other shit I did not want. A bunch of extra characters who just sucked, a bunch of mindless villainy that could not build tension because of how stupid the motivations of the villains were, and how stupid generally people were just dumb. Yeah, this was a bad movie. So thank you for watching. As always, like and subscribe like every other YouTube channel wants you to do. We are Ned and Francis. This is Driving Movies. If you have tips for us about how to make this channel better, please leave a comment. We are very open to feedback.
Like Ned, stop yelling.
Like Ned, stop yelling.
I yelled a lot
I don't
today.
mind him yelling. There's reason to yell. Come on. And that's it. We don't have a Facebook or an Instagram or anything. So for now, just give us the old like and subscribe. What did you see?
I saw a little kitty.
Oh, yeah, let's go check out that cat. This is Ned and Francis signing off, chasing someone's cat.
Peace.